Hello and welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us for our 5th installment of Live Inside GWM. This is your opportunity to get the lowdown, the inside scoop on everything GWM. And it's a chance for you to ask our GWM experts your burning questions. So this is for everyone. Dealers, customers, people brand new to the brand. We're certain you're all going to get something out of this event today. I'd like to quickly begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm standing today, and I'd also pay my respects to elders past and present. Now, for this event, we're taking a look at the all-exciting, all-new Haval H7 Hybrid. Then, of course, we're going to jump into our live Q&A session at the end, where we're going to try to answer as many of your questions submitted by you throughout this event as possible. And get commenting right now. If you've got a question, post it up, we'll get to it. We're going to prioritize, as always, questions about the H7 first though. Now, because during these events, we get a lot of interaction and a lot of submitted questions, it is unfortunately impossible for us to get through all of them. However, if you do post up a question, someone from GWM over the coming days will definitely get back to you and respond. So if you post up a question, we don't answer it live, don't despair. Now, to take us around the all-new Haval H7, it's our inside GWM constant. It's none other than the head of marketing for GWM Australia New Zealand, Steve Maciver. Steve, welcome.
Luke, how are you? Good to be back. Good to be back.
Now, what a great idea this was in 2024, these live events.
We've really enjoyed them, and I think it's been amazing to see the amount of engagement that's been building over time, which shows us it was the right idea to do. But just a way of showing new product, engaging in live conversation with our owners, with people interested in the brand, and I've really enjoyed doing them.
There you go. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to say that a lot tonight because these events mean nothing without our amazing GWM community.
100%.
So let's begin. Tell us where the H7 sits inside the GWM vehicle family.
I guess what I want to start with is making the point that this car, the H7, is not yet locked in for Australia. So it's a car that is under serious consideration. And that's one of the reasons we brought it here, is just to get consumer feedback, evaluate ourselves, that type of thing. But in terms of where it sits, this is a mid-sized SUV. In terms of size, longer in the wheelbase, it's taller, it's longer overall, and it's wider than the H6, which is of course our other well-known mid-sized SUV. But of course, the biggest difference, as everyone can see, is design. So much more aggressive in design, much more off-road focused, shall we say. You only have to look here, much more aggressive, wheel arch flares on there as well. Really nice 19-inch alloy wheels. And again, as you come around the front of the vehicle, a completely new circular headlamp design, which is something, again, that differs from any other Haval SUV that we've got in the range right now.
Is that a little bit like the tank headlight?
It is, absolutely, but again, it's more that sort of off-road feel to it again, so certainly different than the conventional LED setup that you'll see in a Jolly or an H6, so yeah, great pickup. Again, a different type grille, different to what we've seen on the other models, and again, of course, the bold Haval badge there on the front. Again, those of you who were at the live stream a few episodes ago might remember we talked about the difference between the blue Haval badge and the black. Because it's got the blue background, it means, of course, it's a hybrid. So, very different look. You've got this nice sort of detail on the bonnet there, but the bit that I really like is just the detail here. You can see the amazing metalwork and pressing work that's gone into the car there.
I hope you can see that on camera, because that's an amazing, almost a star.
It is, and it's just a really nice design feature that gives a bit of character to the sidelines of the vehicle itself as well. But overall, more clearance, bigger car. It's very much built to be a family SUV that has got off-road capability.
It looks fantastic. Tell us what you think, what you like, what stands out to you at home while you're watching, because it definitely looks very rugged and very capable. Those wheel arches look extremely muscular.
And I guess, thinking about where it sits in the Haval SUV lineup. So of course, right now we've got H6, but of course sitting above that we've got Tank 300 Look, which is of course GWM's professional off-road range. This car is probably the Goldilocks right in the middle. Designed to be a round town capable, either two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive family SUV, But equally, this car does come with a bit more four-wheel drive technology than a conventional Haval H6. The key differences sort of under the skin are that you've got, in the four-wheel drive models, you've got the option of a locking rear differential, so a really nice feature for off-roading. Then you've got some other things in there, such as the transparent chassis function, which essentially uses the cameras on the car, removes the body from the car, giving you a bird's eye view of where you're driving, allowing you to navigate rocks, ruts, holes, whatever it might be in an off-road environment as well. So it's probably what sets it apart from an H6.
It's such a handy feature when you're off-roading, when you can't see what's directly in front of the car.
Sure.
And is there a 360 camera as well?
There is a 360 camera available on this car as well. And again, for those of you who haven't used it, when you get in a Haval and you look at the resolution and clarity of the camera image on the big screens in these vehicles, it's phenomenal. But that 360 camera, again, stitches together images from the cameras on the exterior of the car to give you that full bird's eye view of everything around you as you're trying to navigate into a difficult parking spot, for example.
Yeah, it's amazing. Again, tell us what features you'd love to see, because what I would love to know, you kind of hinted at it before, but what powertrains is the H7 potentially available with?
Powertrain's a really important discussion when we at GWM are thinking about what car to bring in and what's right for market. Now, as things stand, we've got two powertrain options. There is the hybrid, which is the car we've got here today, which is powered by a 1.5 litre turbo petrol, which is then mated to an electric motor that gives us a whopping 179 kilowatts and 530 newton meters. So again, outputs as per the Haval H6 hybrid system that we've got on sale here today. The other option is a 2 litre turbo petrol that gives us 170 kilowatts and 380 newton meters of torque. Now that is up on both kilowatts and torque from the existing H6. So again, for off-roading applications, if you wanted to use that car for that, that little bit of extra grunt's going to help you through those scenarios. But equally on this car, it's a 7-speed dual clutch transmission on the conventional H6. When we move to the H7, we move to a 9-speed dual clutch. So from a powertrain perspective, there's a couple of different options that we're looking at.
Off the top of your head, towing capacity?
So towing capacity on the hybrid is 1,500 kilos, and on the petrol is 2,000.
So a very capable kind of all-rounder. Like you said, it sits in that sweet spot.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, you've talked us through the front design elements. Again, looking at that bonnet, I really like the shape of that. Coming down the side, these folds in the panels look great. I don't think we've got a camera on it right now, but at the rear, what are the design elements that have changed or that stand out to you there?
So look, again, it's very different, but the one key point in the rear that I just want to emphasize is the badging. Now, we've talked about this before, that the company that I work for, the company that we're here to talk about today is GWM. So this is the GWM Haval H7. So GWM being the brand, Haval H7 being the model. And on the rear of this car, as we've already seen coming through in the new Jolyon, as we're going to see coming through on more and more cars, including the new Canon when it comes, there's going to be stronger, bolder GWM branding on that, just to make sure everyone understands that this is the GWM that you're looking at.
Cool, and we were actually able to get some shots there, so hopefully you saw that too. So that's the exterior of the car. Why don't we jump inside and show everyone what's going on in there?
Sounds good, let's do it.
Wow, what an interior. Check out the fit and finish on this.
It's impressive, and obviously some different cues in here and a very different feel for a Haval SUV interior from what you might have been used to with an H6 or even a Jolyon.
It's definitely very, very rugged looking inside, like to match the outside. Was that a deliberate?
100%, and obviously this car has been designed to have a bit more of that off-road focus and off-road design and be a bit more robust and a bit more bold, and I think that definitely carries through into the interior here. And there are some very clear design cues that really point to that as well. You've got this nice big grab handle there in front of the passenger. You've got big grab handles here on the door as well. The steering wheel design itself is just that little bit more chunky as well than what we might have been used to, but there's some other really nice design cues in here that I do actually really like. Obviously the central control tunnel here, transmission tunnel, it's got this really nice carbon fiber effect on it again, which is something that we haven't really seen on a Haval SUV interior before now.
That looks great, especially when paired with this gear shift.
Aviation style gear shift lever, very much so. The other thing which is quite different here is you've got some really chunky hard switches right there in the center of the dash and the console. And the reason we've done that is we've listened to consumer feedback. Plenty of brands have been getting to the stage of putting more and more functionality buried in menus in the central infotainment screen. But for usability and safety, to be able to keep your eyes on the road when you're driving, customer feedback has been saying, hey, we want more hard switches on the dash so you can actually drive and you can feel out the functions that you want and get them operating while keeping your eyes on the road in front.
Absolutely. And I mean, talk about next level. Like, these seats are comfortable. You've got this enormous panoramic sunroof. Like, it's really well thought out.
And I guess that's the thing about Haval. You know, any GWM you get into, you know you're going to get plenty of features. You know it's going to be well spec'd, and this car is no different. Obviously, you've pointed out that huge panoramic sunroof, so again, that's available on the Ultra grade within this car. Again, this huge 14-inch central infotainment display on there as well. Really crystal clear 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster. You've got wireless phone charging, you've even got a heads-up display. So again, all the creature comforts that you would expect, even although it is a more off-road focused car. It's a really beautiful, comfortable place to be.
And Apple CarPlay?
Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so again, allows you to connect your phone wirelessly, as we've got here, without the need for cables or anything. And again, you can just see here, in terms of the resolution, the size of the screen, all that kind of stuff, it is absolutely beautiful in terms of what you can do and what you can see here.
I know maybe our eagle-eyed viewers can pick it up, but obviously it's not 11:08 and there's some warning things going on. This is a pre-production car, isn't it?
Very good point. Yes, this is a pre-production car, and essentially what that means is that it's been built to production spec. Some of it's actually built not through the full production line, so it's pre-production. So this isn't a car that we can sell here. And the reason we invest in these products and the reason we bring them in is to allow us to do things like this, to evaluate the car for local conditions, evaluate our dealer feedback for us as a local team to get a feel for the car, but then also to be able to do things like this and get it in front of potential customers and ask their view on whether we think this car is something that would be a success for us in Australia.
Absolutely. Okay, so it looks great, it feels great. What about some of the technology that's behind here? So we're talking driver safety, that sort of stuff.
So look, again, with any GWM product, as everyone would know, certainly those who've already bought them, safety is big on our agenda. To that point, all the active safety features that you would expect, blind spot monitoring, radar cruise control, autonomous emergency braking, all those things are standard across the range. As for a five-star ANCAP safety rating, we don't yet have that for this product. But what I would say is, because it's built on the same platform as the Haval H6, which has already got the 5-star ANCAP rating, we expect that this car would hopefully get that as well. So we'll go through that process in the coming months if we make the decision to bring the car here.
All right, I'm calling it 5-star ANCAP safety rating for sure. Lastly, is it going to come, or what sort of care package will GWM provide along with it?
So this will likely take the same GWM Care 755 package that's available on the Jolene and in the H6 today. And what that means is a 7-year unlimited kilometre warranty, 5 years roadside assist, and 5 years cap price serving. So again, anyone who's making the call to come and try GWM, rest assured we're going to look after you. We've got your back for 7 years into the future and potentially beyond.
Well, on that note, I'm sure all of our viewers have some burning questions, so why don't we jump out and get to the Q&A?
Let's do it.
All right. That is the all-new Haval H7.
It is indeed.
So here's the fun part. Let's get to the questions. Let's see what you all think. So first cab off the rank. Stanley, is H7 going to be plug-in hybrid?
At this stage, Stanley, the answer to that is no. We do not have plug-in on the radar for H7. We do have a number of plug-in options that we're looking at for next year. As we've already confirmed, H6 GT plug-in will come next year. We've got a Canon Alpha plug-in on the cards, potentially even a Tank 500 plug-in. And then there could be plug-in options for a new H6 further down the line as well.
Great question though, Stanley.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Kerry asks, is the Tank 300 coming in High 4T or High 4Z?
At this stage, again, High 4T is not on the radar for Tank 300. It is on the radar, of course, for the likes of the Canon Alpha that we've just discussed and Tank 500. Never say never. There's plenty of things going on behind the scenes that I can't talk to yet, but at this stage, the official answer is no.
That just got me thinking too with four-wheel drive capability and driving modes. I don't know if we mentioned all the different driving modes that the H7 has.
I don't think we did, and that's a good pickup, Luke. So on the H7, on the two-wheel drive variant, you've got 4 different driving modes: eco, normal, snow, sport, that type of thing. When you go to the four-wheel drive variant, 9 different driving modes on that. So again, much more off-road focused, you know, rock, gravel, that type of thing, mud. So again, making sure that maximum traction, you can get the power down nicely. So again, with all of those 9 different functions, that allows you to do that.
And speaking of power down too, did I hear correctly that the H7 has launch control?
The H7 does have launch control, and again, that's the wide, you know, variety of ways in which this car could be used. Now, ultimately, yes, it is a more off-road focused SUV. We know it's going to be used in a multitude of different ways. It's going to be, you know, on tarmac, on public roads a lot of times. Hell, if you want to take this car to the track and try launch control, you're more than welcome.
Is that a feature you like? Don't like? Let us know. Leave a comment. Okay, Daryl, is this an all-new H7? What does that mean, or what's happening with the H6? I think you touched on that slightly earlier, but let's go back to it.
Just to clarify, this is a completely different car to H6, meaning different model, different top hat is what we call it, sitting on top of the chassis. The chassis is the same chassis as the H6. Again, some of the powertrain is exactly the same, but this car is longer in the wheelbase. It is longer overall. It's a taller vehicle, and then also wider. So H7 is a standalone model. H6 absolutely continues. H6 is one of our best-selling models here in the ANZ region. We've alluded to the fact that you're likely to be seeing a new H6, and that's a car that we've already showcased through these events and other ones, and you're likely to see that car coming next year. So yes, H6 continues, and will sit potentially alongside the H7 if we decide to bring it here.
Never fear, H6 customers. Santa's got us covered. Hassan looks amazing. Thank you, Hassan. We love a good compliment because we know the looks of cars is very. Is it subjective? Is that the right term, or is it objective? Because we like what we like, and sometimes we see something and we love it, and sometimes we see it and we don't.
And I guess that's a really great point, Hassan. And again, thank you for the feedback. And again, that's exactly why we do these things. We want to understand: do you, the viewing public, potential car buyers out there, do you like what you see? Do you think this is a car we should bring to Australia? That's what we're really keen to find out. But yeah, design's really important. We find that with the research that we do, with GWM, of course, value's really, really high up in the list for our consumers, you know, but design is something as well that a lot of customers really, you know, focus in on, because ultimately the car that you drive says a lot about who you see yourself as a person. And I think there's certainly a type of person who's going to like this. It might not be for everyone, but then we do have H6, we've got Tank. But again, this is a little bit unique and a little bit more individual, and I think there's going to be plenty of buyers for it.
Keep the questions coming. I saw Jeffrey on YouTube had a question. I'm going to get to that in a second. Let's go with Kevin first. So another great vehicle from GWM. Again, another great compliment. Thank you so much, Kevin. So there we go. So the Haval H7 is already winning fans. Mingwei, I hope I said that correctly. Is the hybrid using the high force system or something else?
So look, it's not using the high force system. This hybrid system on the vehicle is the same hybrid system that's on the current H6. So it is combining that 1.5 turbo petrol engine with the electric motors. High 4 is really the system that we've got, High 4T and High 4. High 4T is about that Tank off-road platform, and that allows us to maintain a mechanical connection for the four-wheel drive system whilst having that battery and electric assistance on it as well. So no, this car isn't High 4 or High 4T. It is the conventional hybrid system that we currently run on H6.
Great question.
Very good question.
So Jeffrey on YouTube, hello to all our YouTube viewers. Will the hybrid come in all-wheel drive or just two-wheel drive?
Great question, Jeffrey. Now that's probably going back to a little bit the question about High 4 and High 4T. Now obviously High 4 and High 4T is back to the plug-in question, but in terms of four-wheel drive versus two-wheel drive, the answer is at this stage, it's only going to be available in two-wheel drive. Again, can't say too much, but suffice to say, we understand the importance of being able to offer hybrid in four-wheel drive. There is work going on behind the scenes. Watch this space, but certainly in the short term, the all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive is going to be available on the petrol, and essentially two-wheel drive on the hybrid.
Great question, and this is a fantastic question. This is for our GWM. I'm going to call them enthusiasts, because someone knows something here. And this guy, Peter, has asked, why not Big Dog? Do you want to explain Big Dog for us?
Great question, Peter, absolutely. So this car, as we've talked about today, is the H7. The car, the name that the car was actually launched under a couple of years ago, and it's been on sale in China, this variant in previous generations for a couple of years now, was known as the Haval Big Dog. So we've been wrestling with the name as to whether we think Big Dog's a name that we can work with here in Australia, but then also thinking about it from a global perspective. Now, as much as a marketer, I would love to have some fun and play with Big Dog, and I'm sure our agency partners would love to do that too. H7 for us just makes more sense, as we're still really trying to build and establish the brand and, you know, place ourselves more firmly in that top 10. Recognition of our nameplates, recognition of our models is really important, of course, with H6 already there, well known. The possibility of an H9 further down the line, again, a nameplate that we've had, makes perfect sense, we think, to go with H7. So Big Dog's off the table. H7 is potentially what it will be if we bring it here.
But those in the know can still refer to it as the Big Dog.
Indeed.
Well done,
We'll
Peter.
know what you mean.
All right, I've got a couple of questions to finish up before we go, because we're getting to the end of 2024. How has the year been from a GWM perspective?
2024 has been, in a word, huge. It's been GWM's most successful year to date in this region. We have already secured, even not knowing what our December number is going to be, we'd already secured at the end of November a record annual retail result, sale result. So in the Australian market, we'll finish with round about 42,000 sales this year, which is another record off the back of 4 previous years' record growth as well. So we're very, very happy with that. I think what I do want to say is thank you to every customer out there who's chosen a GWM in 2024. You won't be disappointed, but we really thank you for coming to the party and taking a GWM home and putting one in your driveway or your garage. But yeah, a huge year for us. I'm eternally grateful for all the support that we've been given, but you know, onwards and upwards, and certainly go with more for 2025.
Well, I always like to try and get the inside track, the inside scoop. What is in store for 2025? What can you share with us? What can you confirm? Yeah.
Look, the expectation, Luke, for 2025 is more of the same. You know, hopefully more sales, hopefully more happy customers, but certainly more new models and plenty of them. So let's just recap. We've touched on this a bit over the last few live streams, but for those of you who maybe didn't tune in, we've got 6, 7, potentially even more new models that could arrive next year. So look, the first cab off the rank, the first ute off the rank, should we say, is the GWM Cannon. So our current GWM ute we're going to be renaming as Cannon. Of course, that's the grade names we have right now, and of course many people already refer to it as the Cannon. So that car will come to market in Q1.
And for our ute buyers out there watching too, the Cannon is the same size as what's sort of out there on the roads right now, whereas the Cannon Alpha is slightly
Cannon
bigger.
Alpha is a size up again. It's not quite your American full-size ute or pickup, but it's a size up from your regular dual cab, which is where the Cannon fits in.
So the Cannon's the standard Aussie ute size.
It is,
yeah.
it is. But Cannon is arguably, I think, one of GWM's, if not GWM's most important new model for 2025. The reason being, of course, it's a massive seller. The ute segment in Australia is huge, but where I think ute buyers need to sit up and take notice is that we can guarantee that the value that GWM is known for will continue with the new Cannon. Not only do we have an improved and updated exterior design, we've got the same on the interior, but what's under the bonnet in the new Cannon is a 2.4 litre turbo diesel engine. So again, more power, more torque, up to 3.5 ton towing. So again, a huge change to that car that we think will really help lift it further up the sales charts. Coming not too far behind that is the very exciting Haval H6 GT plug-in hybrid. So a car that delivers up to 180 k's worth of pure electric driving.
And that's phenomenal. That's huge.
That is going to be segment leading with quite some way when it hits market. Pre-launch has already started. The order books have opened in that car. We're already taking orders ahead of launch. But not only do we have that 180 k's of range, we've got over 1,000 k's of combined range when you combine the petrol engine and that plug-in hybrid battery. But then get this, 0 to 100 acceleration of just 4.9 seconds. So you're talking a genuine family SUV with EV range of 180k and acceleration which is performance like, less than 5 seconds 0 to 100, and really strong value. So again, get online, have a look at the details, look at the pricing. If you're interested, our dealers are taking orders today. So that's coming. Behind that, we've already talked about the potential addition of a diesel engine into the Tank 300 range. So that's something that you might see in the not too distant future. We've talked about significant updates coming to H6. I won't put timing on it yet, but you're not going to have to wait too long for that. Of course, this car, there will be potentially the Canon Alpha High 4T that we've already talked about a couple of episodes ago. And that technology may also make its way into Tank 500. So you can see shaping up to be a huge year for GWM in 2025, and we can't wait to get stuck in.
You're going to be launching nearly a car every month or 2 months at this rate.
And the good news for anyone who's been watching these things, and there's going to be plenty of new product like this that we can give you the inside scoop on every single episode.
Look, there you go. You heard it here first. And on that note, we're going to wrap it up. So we know December's very busy for everyone. We don't want to keep you for too long. So, Steve, an absolute pleasure as always to have you here.
You too, Luke. Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you to all of you for watching. And we'd love to wish you all the best for the festive season and a fantastic new year. Please feel free to keep your questions coming. As we said, if we didn't get to it tonight, someone from GWM is going to be going through, probably on their holidays, trying to answer as many questions as they can and get back to you as quickly as possible. So keep your questions coming. Now, information on the all-new Haval H7 won't be online yet. That'll be coming next year.
Nope, not online yet. I mean, again, you can go on any of the the websites that you're all familiar with. I'm sure the enthusiasts all read. There's plenty of information out there on the H7 or the big dog. If you look it up, there's nothing official on our site yet. As and when we make the decision to bring the car in, you'll see information coming directly from us out to the masses.
But for all the other vehicles and all the other information on everything GWM is, of course, gwmanz.com. Why not jump on there and book a test drive at your local dealer? Try out one of the range for yourself. I can't recommend it highly enough. Thank you so much for choosing to be a part of this incredible GWM community. As we said, thank you for joining us in these 2024 live events. These wouldn't happen without you. Great questions, great interaction.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for making everything possible this year. And as Steve said, 2025 is going to be a big year. These live events, these monthly live events will continue into next year. So let us know in a comment what you'd like to see, hear, or learn about, and we'll do our best to try and make that happen into the new year. As always, over the break, keep an eye on the website and the social channels for all the latest news and details of the January event and everything else. Drive safely. We want to wish you all the best for a fantastic 2025. We'll see you all next year.